right? Guess again. If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship and guarantee of full access to all public and social services this society provides. And that's a lot of services. Is it any wonder that 2/3 of the babies born at taxpayer expense at county-run hospitals in Los Angeles are born to illegal alien mothers?
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the whole issue of anchor babies being eliminated from the Constitution. Now, Trump has come out and said that he may be able to do this by executive order. Now, when I heard that, I thought it was kind of a joke and somebody was just trying to put out false information, because I'm like, okay, you can't amend the Constitution with executive order. They got to go through this big, long process. It's a lot of court battles that's going to happen. You can't just do whatever you want to do. But he was on television and said, hey, I was always told you cannot amend the Constitution without this big, long, arduous process, but I was told that I'm able to do it by executive order. So we're going to see if that can happen or not. Now, I'm going to read the amendment for you, and then we're going to break it down a little bit to understand what's happening, and then I'll get into more of why this is very important to amend. The 14th Amendment reads, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any such law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Now, there's a key thing in there. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. So if you're born here in the U.S., but your parents are illegal and you're illegal, I mean, are you subject to our jurisdiction? Maybe only after you're born, at which point you become a citizen. But I'm not really sure how that really works. That's kind of ambiguous, because if you're here in the U.S. as a non-citizen, whether you're green card, illegal, or whatever, you are subject to our jurisdiction, but only to a certain extent. You can be extradited back home. You're not a resident. So that's kind of murky. And that's always been kind of a topic of discussion, because this topic has come up time and time again. You saw that at the very beginning. You saw Harry Reid talking about that. This has been a debate that's been happening on the left and the right. It just seems as if it's politically advantageous to be against it on the left right now. But in years past, Barack Obama, Harry Reid, and many others have been in favor of amending this, fixing it, or just totally abolishing this particular amendment in the Constitution. Now, the amendment was, I think, ratified in 1868, right around then. This was after the Civil War, which ended in 1865. The purpose was to allow black citizens and also former CSA citizens, that's the Confederate States of America, it was to allow all of them to be citizens in the Union and the USA. That's what it was for. It was not for Chinese anchor babies, Russian anchor babies, African anchor babies, Mexican anchor babies. It was not for that. Now, some may get offended by me saying anchor babies. Oh, you can't say anchor babies. That's politically incorrect. Why do I say anchor baby? Well, it's because, first of all, there's a whole industry behind this. You got people in China that are paying 20 grand to have people guide them through the process of coming to America and having an anchor baby. And these babies, when they're born in the U.S., obviously they get citizenship, but not only do they get citizenship, they get full benefits of a citizen. So, prime example, you could be a Chinese person, well off, well-to-do. You fly to the U.S. with this lady. She's 8.9 months pregnant, about to give birth, about to pop anytime now. She could give birth on the plane. She comes to the U.S., has a baby in New York, L.A., wherever. Now that baby is a citizen. They could fly right back. As soon as mother gets out the hospital, they could fly right back to China, live there their whole life, When the child becomes 18, he or she can go right back to the U.S., have in-state tuition at their particular college of choice, maybe even get a scholarship, financial aid, all that. They are privy to get Social Security benefits, Medicaid, Medicare, health insurance. They can get all the benefits of a citizen without truly being a citizen just because they were born here. Their parents were illegal. The whole process should be illegal, but it happens all the time. The Chinese really take advantage of this the most. I mean, you may see the people coming from across the border, the Hispanics or whatever, but that's just a small percentage of it. Matter of fact, not only do the Chinese come in through the air to the U.S. directly, they also come to other countries south of the border. The number 2 illegal immigrant group through the southern border are Chinese. There's a sign at the border, and I talk about this all the time. It's one of these rescue signs where if you get caught out there in the desert in between Mexico and the U.S. crossing on foot, you can push a button at this particular sign and help will come to you. If you're about to die of thirst, you're feeling bad, you're feeling disoriented, you can push that button, stay right there. It'll come, some help will come to you. Now, the sign is in Spanish, of course, English, and also Mandarin Chinese. Why Mandarin Chinese? Because there's so many people that are coming to do the whole birth tourism thing. Also, you got the human trafficking going on. You got these Chinese prostitutes, but that's a whole different story, and I digress. My point is that this amendment is being used in a way that it was not intended to be used. If you can come over here illegally, have a baby wherever you want, and then all of a sudden now you're a citizen, you can get in-state tuition. Like, I'm an American citizen. I can't even get all these benefits. If I'm living in Virginia, that's my home state. That's where I grew up. And I want to go to college in California. Now I have to pay out-of-state tuition. But I can be a Chinese citizen, be born in Los Angeles, move back to China, grow up there my whole life, then come back to LA when I'm 18 and have in-state tuition. How is that fair? Right? So, I mean, if I am a Virginia resident, I fly to California when I'm still in the womb. I'm born in Los Angeles and I immediately move back to Virginia, live there my whole life. Can I go back to LA and get in-state tuition? I think not. This is why Trump is talking about trying to amend this whole thing, getting rid of the whole birthright citizenship. I don't think any countries in Europe have this. Only 2 countries in Africa have this. This is not something that is normal, nor is it widespread. Anybody wants to defend it can't really defend it. The original purpose of it was correct, to give all Americans citizenship, former CSA citizens, and also blacks, which is pretty much one and the same. Because if you were part of the Confederate States of America, you wanted to get reunified back into the Union. That's what the 14th Amendment was for. It is not for what's going on right now. But I would love to hear anybody defend that. If you're out there, if you think that we should still have this amendment the way it is, then please explain to me why we should in the comments below. I would love to hear your explanation. Again, the original intent, right on, perfect. I'm with you 100%. But the way it's being used right now, it is a scam. It is a con game. It is not right. It is unfair to American citizens. I was watching Fox News and they said that 1 out of every 12 live births that are happening right now in the USA are being born to illegal immigrants. And they know what they're doing. This ain't, just some kind of mistake. Oh, I just happened to be pregnant. No, they came over here specifically for that reason from all over the world. See, some would try to frame this as a racist thing. Are you scared of brown people, this, that, and the third? Well, Europeans do this. Chinese do this. Hispanics, everybody does this because it's a system that's available. Why wouldn't you? If you can come over here legally, have a baby, and then that baby have all the benefits of being an American without having to grow up in America, I mean, it's a sweet deal to them. It makes sense to them. And then not only do you have those that have the child and move back to the country of origin and then come back later with the child and they can do whatever they want. You also have those that have the baby and use it as a means of being able to get money while they're here in the States because they're subject to all the benefits, food stamps, EBT, WIC, TANF, all that good stuff, Medicare, Medicaid. So let's say you have about 5 or 6 anchor babies. You got a cash cow right there. You could be sending money back to Mexico, to Russia, to Nigeria, to France, wherever you come from. Okay? That's how that works. And it is unfair. We shouldn't be doing this in the USA. We should be focused more on the citizens that live here right now rather than trying to extend benefits to those who come from all over the world and who come here illegally to take advantage of us. But what do you think? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Should we amend this? Can Trump do this? I don't really know if he can or not, be quite honest with you. I hope that he's able to do this by executive order. I don't know if that's possible because I was always taught in order to amend the Constitution, it's got to be this whole big long process. It's got to involve other branches of the government. It can't just come from the executive branch by stroke of a pen. But maybe the advisors know a thing that I don't know. Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the